My name is Vermillion. I'm the Indiana District 31 House of Representatives and hometown Marion, Indiana girl in healthcare and public health space. This is Stefanie's story. Worthless, waste of space, trash, ugly, fat, mine. These labels were some that I had grown accustomed to hearing, even as a child. I was taught to believe that every horrible and painful and disgusting thing that happened to me, it was my fault. And I was conditioned to believe that I didn't deserve any better than what was happening. I was taught that my value was entirely dependent on the man who was pleased with me. I just stayed until the end. It wouldn't be as bad. It wouldn't hurt as much. That is exactly what I did. For years, I endured my hell in silence. I jumped from one toxic relationship to another. With each man came new scars, new bruises, and a new drug to numb my pain. I was so sick of hiding the bruises, making excuses, and fearing that I would do what I would do next to make him angry. I was ready to end it all. Ready to just escape for the final time, but before I could, my addiction landed me in jail. Even after getting clean and staying clean, I still chose relationships with the same person in a different body. It was always the guys that could sweet talk anyone, that would show up and act like the knight in shining armor, and I always fell for it. I wanted to believe that even after 5 years of being clean, I would no longer just stay. I wanted to believe that I would no longer allow myself to be used as a doormat. I wanted to believe that the first time a man put his hands on me, I would leave. I didn't, though. I simply became an expert at looking happy and believed that it was normal for my fiance to sexually assault me. I began to crave and escape, and I knew I couldn't continue to protect the alcoholic that kept me up for days and nights at a time, accusing me of cheating, or not keeping the house clean enough, or just punishing me for simply not sitting at his feet when he thought I should. With the help of my parents, I was able to escape, and I swore to myself again that I wouldn't allow myself to be hurt ever again. But I did, though. I saw every red flag, but I chose to just stay. The first time he laid his hands on me, he shoved me, and he swore that it would never happen again. The second time, he held a machete to my throat, and then he acted like it was a joke. The third time, he shoved me through my bedroom wall. He threw me against my dresser. He pinned me to the ground, and he put his knee in my back, and he began to strangle me for what seemed to be like an eternity. I began to wonder if my child would come home to find their motherless, lifeless body, but something happened in that moment. I realized that if I lost consciousness, I would never see the faces of my children again. So I fought, and I fought to breathe, and I fought to keep my eyes open. I fought against the arms that were crushing my throat. So 7 minutes later, I was free, and I ran for safety, but there wasn't any. But he was still there. He was blaming me for making him strangle me. And I sat on my porch for 2 hours in fear and in shock how close I came to even losing my life. The moment I decided to call 911 was the moment I decided that I would no longer allow anyone else to tell me my value. I decided that I didn't deserve to live in fear, and I wanted to live. I wanted to be happy, and I wanted to heal, so that one day I could say, I am beautiful, I am smart, and I am worth it. I am important, and more than anything, by the grace of God, I am an overcomer. I choose not to live in fear. I choose not to be threatened or belittled. And I no longer have to worry about my children finding me lying on the floor, covered in a bloodied clothes. I will continue to choose life where I know my worth. I know my value, and absolutely no person has the right to treat me as less than I am. I will live rather than merely exist, and I will continue to fight for my life. Every day that I wake up, I will not give up, and I will not turn back, and I will not be silent. I will continue to overcome because I deserve more than the hell I was taught to endure. I think getting words like Stefanie's story out, it matters. I think that we see our friend, we see our sister, we see our mom in those stories. We need to just be sure that we're communicating those that are going through it. And I think it gives the strength to those that are going through it to see the women that have come through it. And I think as a woman who loves this community, that's all of our responsibilities to do, is to speak on their behalf. I think legislatively, anything that we can do as the state of Indiana to provide safer laws, a safer atmosphere where the state of Indiana is backing the survivors or the victims, or the process that victims go to get to a place that they're a survivor, is something I personally could keep an eye out and make sure that I'll do my best to make any changes that need to happen. Work for those that are in domestic violence relationships or those that are victims of domestic violence.